Welcome back to our mini practice for today. I want to do today a little flow inspired by the goddess Lakshmi, who is our goddess of abundance. So to set yourself up, if you have a bolster, even if you don't have like a yoga bolster, but you have a pillow or a cushion or something handy, you can have that or a block because we'll eventually lay back over it. So it's nice to have to prop the heart open. So again, the theory behind these little mini lessons is just to get you on your mat, because the hardest part about starting a daily yoga practice is getting on your mat. But if you can mentally commit to just 5 minutes a day, that's enough to really instill the habit in your mind. So we've done a lot of research on this psychology. My partner Nadia has studied over 200 different science experiments, research studies on the topic, and that's one of the biggest takeaways that we can't emphasize enough, is to minify your practice. Don't make it this big thing filled with pressure, just make it small. So today, we'll flow through some movements inspired by Lakshmi. So let's actually start by coming onto all fours. Lakshmi is our beautiful goddess of abundance, and when you see images of her, she often is surrounded by elephants, and she's said to fly around on an owl, a beautiful snowy owl. So both of those animals, elephants and owls, are considered signs of prosperity and abundance. So let's start out just by flowing through some cows and cats, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhaling as you draw your shoulder blades together, lift your heart, lift your tailbone. And exhale as you draw your belly in, rounding the back, making space between your shoulder blades. And as you open your heart, every time you breathe in, just visualize the abundance flowing into your life. Exhaling to round the back. So often that feeling of scarcity is just a feeling of fear. So we'll practice some heart openers today to really welcome in abundance. One more time, inhaling to open your heart in that cow pose. And then take your exhale to walk your hands further out in front and sink your chest down to the ground in Anahatasana, or puppy pose. Now, if you feel like you tend to hyperflex your shoulders in this pose, you can always bend the elbows and bring your hands into prayer, and that might allow you to sink your lower ribs closer to the mat, to lift your tailbone a little higher without putting all of that stress straight into the shoulders. Take 3 breaths here. And then you can release your hands down, roll onto your forearms to relax the shoulders, and then walk back up onto your hands. Now exhale to curl your toes under, send your hips back and up to the sky for downward facing dog, and you can pedal it out there. Let's take an inhale to raise our right leg, and then bend your knee and draw a circle in the air with your knee. See how big you can make your circle, testing out your range of movement here. And if you'd like to open your heart a little more to abundance, we can come into what's called a wild thing pose. Now, only do this if your shoulders are feeling comfortable and safe and steady today. But what we can do is lift the back leg, send your weight forward like a plank, and then drop your foot behind you, lifting your heart, reaching your arm overhead. As you lift your hips, lift your heart, wrist under shoulder will be the safest position for that shoulder. And then exhale, pull your belly in, square the chest, square the hips. You can lift the leg back to 3-legged downward dog, and then exhale the foot back down. Same on the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg. You can bend the knee, draw your nice big circle. Whichever way, whichever direction feels natural for you. And then opening your heart to abundance. Once again, shift your weight forward so you're really squaring the chest. And then plant the foot down behind you, reaching overhead. Opening your heart to any blessings that Lakshmi has in store for you. And then exhale, pull your belly in, plant the hand back down, send the leg back up to the sky, and then back down to downward dog, pedal it out. Now keeping the tailbone lifted high with your next exhale, drawing your belly in, just tiptoe your feet forward. See how high you can lift your hips. Can you bring your weight towards your hands? You can bend the knees as much as you need to as you come forward into this forward folding pose. And then reach for opposite elbow in opposite hand and just sway from side to side. We call this ragdoll pose sometimes, but it can also be called Gajasana, the elephant pose, as if your upper body is the trunk of an elephant. So imagine any fears, any limiting beliefs just pouring out from the crown of your head here. Mother Earth will accept them for you. And then exhale to lower your fingers down to the ground. Walk your feet together now. We'll bend our knees, lift your heels, and come down into a toe balanced squat. So if we did a pose named after Lakshmi's elephant, we can also do a pose named after her owl. This is sometimes called Ulukasana. It's a variation of our Alasana squat. What you can do is take your knees out wide as if you're trying to bring the soles of your feet together, all while still balancing on your toes. And then see if you can bring your hands to heart center, or maybe into Gyan Mudra at the knees. A symbol of the owl that Lakshmi rides on, particularly these snowy white owls that are very rare in India, so they're seen as great symbols of prosperity and abundance. Open your heart, open your hips to any blessings that may be ready to flow into your life. And then you can exhale to lower down onto your bottom into a butterfly pose. The soles of the feet stay together. Now here's where you'll want your bolster or your block to lay behind you on your mat, just enough that it props the thoracic spine up, so it props your heart open. And you can choose the position for your feet. Maybe they're closer in towards you, maybe they're a little further out in front. Wherever you feel like you can get a sense of opening and expansiveness to the blessings of Lakshmi. And when you find that position, just walk your hands back so that you can lay back over your bolster and turn your palms up to face the sky, closing your eyes. You can visualize that goddess flying over you on her beautiful white owl. Her blessings raining down over you like barely there flower petals, soft and fragrant, almost transparent, filling you with their blessing. Just take a moment in this pose to visualize some dream that you have for yourself. Maybe one that's so big that you barely dare to dream it. Lakshmi's plan for you is even 1,000 times bigger than that. What would that feel like in your body to live? Now you're welcome to stay for as long as you'd like in that pose or to continue with your yoga practice today. For those who joined, thank you so much for being here. Again, just a mini practice like that is enough to get you on your mat and falling back in love with your yoga practice. So thanks for being here today.